Hi, today I'd like to talk about a hidden and often overlooked ingredient required to create a masterful personal statement. By now, we know we need to envision the audience we're writing for and understand their values. We've taken an inventory of our relevant experiences and how these experiences might connect or build on one another to form a powerful narrative for our personal statement. Okay then, so what's missing that could prevent us from writing our best possible essay? The missing ingredient is time. I often use an analogy of making pizza dough to illustrate this concept for my students. In this picture, we have the ingredients for our pizza. We see the flour, water, oil, salt, sugar, and yeast. If we combine these ingredients in the correct proportions, in the right process, we can create something delicious. It is incumbent on the baker to understand the process though, and that you can't simply combine the ingredients and throw them in the oven. You need to give the yeast time to ferment, which causes the dough to rise. This fermentation time is an integral component of the process, and no pizza maker would overlook it. In writing, as with baking or pizza making, you need to plan in time for the elements in your draft to interact and come together. The outline that you start with, which might seem brilliant now, may not be what you end up with, and that's a good thing. As you move through the creative process and you return to a draft over a series of days and weeks, you'll start to see new connections and new angles. I was inspired to make this video as I read through 2022's edition of the Best American Short Stories. There are author's notes for each story in the back of the book where the authors talk about the ideas and inspiration behind their story. I was struck by the number of authors who wrote about having some version of their story in their head for years or even decades. Another common theme from these authors' notes was also how certain plot elements or themes emerged through the process of writing, as if in a way the story was revealing itself to the author. This is a really helpful concept for you as you think about writing your personal statement. The process of writing and revising the essay may lead you down roads you didn't initially anticipate, and these roads could make your draft even more compelling. But, of course, the only way to allow for this possibility is if you give yourself enough time so you're not up against a deadline. Your takeaway from this video is start the writing process early so you have space to regularly take a break for a day or two and come back to your essay. And doing this should help give you the distance to reassess your story in new ways. When I was in grad school the first time, one of my favorite professors liked to quote the American science author James Gleick. He said, "The act of playing the game has a way of changing the rules." Similarly, the act of writing has a way of revealing details and connections to the author that he or she might not have seen during the planning and outlining stages. As always, have a great day and get started on your drafts.